Welcome back to High School DxD Anime Review Special Number 9. This is reviewing the 21st light novel of the novel series, Lucifer of the Optional Audience. This particular book picks up not long after the events of the last book where, after Issei goes to this special form, this Dragonal deflectional mode. Yes, he falls into a coma. Yes, he falls in a coma, and he's like this for a good first chapter and a half until he gets out of the coma in the most unusual way possible, with a combination of phoenix tears and breast milk. I'm not kidding about this. And they also kind of view in this book Issei's obsession with breast. Apparently, when his mother's breastfeeding him, apparently he just liked having it for some reason, which is really weird. And that his obsession with breast. Okay, yeah, and then when he wakes up from his coma, something really weird happens. Apparently, he can't see any women's breasts at all, and he cannot talk about breasts. Yeah, in case you're wondering, is this permanent? Nope, it's only for this one book only because it's got undone by the end of the book. So, now in the case of the last book, there is this creature known as Traxum who was unleashed at the end. No, it's not the Great Red Dragon. He was not unleashed. It was some other dragon that was unleashed, and this thing is causing havoc across the planet. So they have to go various places. Issei wants to find Japan because Japan is his home. Vale, who is in the book by the way. Yeah, the book actually spends a lot of time with Vale. There's a whole chapter dedicated to him, where it's the third to last chapter of the book, and he is, well, how should I put this? He is dreaming about having living with a regular family, aside being an adopted son of Odin. Yeah, I'll talk about Odin in a minute. He doesn't play a really big part here. He does play a part off screen, mind you. I'll talk about that in a minute. Yeah, so throughout most of the book, Issei cannot see any breast, can't even say the word breast at all, because it's an unusual side effect of using the dragon deflectional armor that he got from the last book. Yes, and he's slowly trying to recover. I should point out, though, none of the girls in this book do anything at all, as far as I can think of. The book is mostly focused on Issei himself and Vale. Yeah, they're the two prime focus characters in this entire book. The girls don't do very much at all. I mean, they're in the book. Revel's in the book a little bit. Gives some Phoenix tears for the upcoming battle he has. But aside from that, this is probably the first book of the series where the women of the whole series don't do much of anything. Well, with the exception of Orpheus, she does something. So, Issei takes on one of the evil dragons. He doesn't go to the dragon deflection mode because he knows if he does, he will die. So, he takes him on in one of his other forms, and he beats evil. He basically vaporizes him after a pretty grueling battle, which takes up a good majority of chapter 5 of the book. And then, he fights Traxum, and then somehow he activates the mode, and he's knocked unconscious after using it for a brief period of time. Of course, he also teams up with Surzex, and he even fuses part of him and somehow takes out one of the cores, and he's taking out most of the fight. And then Issei wakes up in the hospital again. This is the second time the book this happened. Instead of having the girls surrounding him, it's Vale who's actually with him. And he kind of explains what happened after he was knocked out. Apparently, Surzex, Azazel, Michael, Raphael, Una, Odin, and a bunch of other gods basically sealed themselves to stop Xerxes. Basically, in the case of Michael, everybody in his group except for his ace. Same thing with Raphael and Una, where their entire group except for their aces. Xerxes except for his queen, so his wife is pretty much okay. Though I think that Rhea is upset the fact her brother is missing. Yeah. And Azazel gets sealed. And from what I've learned, he stays sealed for pretty much the rest of the series. He does not get unsealed. According to what they say, the seal will be undone in about 3,000 years. Actually, I think it's about 3 to 7,000 years. So it'll be pretty much long after Issei will be dead. Yeah, long after he's dead. But Sir X basically put a proposal forward because of his actions, probably in not only this book, but in other books, basically his previous actions that he's done, of how heroic he is, of a good person he is. What is the proposal? The recommendation for him to be promoted to the rank of high class devil. Yep, that gets recommended. And does he take up that proposal? Find out when I get a chance to review Volume 22, which I'm looking forward to reviewing this one. This overall was a really damn good novel, and it did kind of wrap up a little bit of the plot. It finished at the cliffhanger and in the last book. And oh yeah, and it's also revealed the reason why he's able to survive going to reflection mode is because Orpheus sort of shifted the power a bit so he would not fall into a coma again. And then after he woke up, yeah, when he sees Lilith, who is a part of Orpheus for some yeah, they don't clearly explain this. Yes. Apparently seeing her breast, apparently his ability to see, basically he can see breast again, and he can actually say the word breast by the end of the book. Yeah, that dumb thing is completely undone by the end of the book. I'm glad the fact that was not a permanent thing, because I think any reader would know that, yeah, him not be able to see breast, or at least say the word breast, would be a stupid thing to have for the rest of the series, because it'd be completely pointless. But I'm very happy with the fact that was pretty much fixed by the end of the novel, because yeah, that was a kind of dumb thing for it to happen to him, where you can't even see breasts at all. Yeah, it's shown on one of the covers of the book. I think it's the inside cover, where Rhea's breast and I think it's Revel's breast are censored. Yeah, they're pixelated. That apparently is what happened to Issei in this book. He can see the shape of a woman, but he can't see her breast at all. Yeah, it's a particularly very weird thing, but luckily this is kind of done by the end of the book, thank God. This overall was a pretty good light novel. I do recommend it, basically, people who would like this series. And I'm trying to think, there was anything else I forgot? No, not really. I'd say Vale got a very good amount of development in this book, but if you look at pretty much most of this whole cast, who's pretty much part of this whole series, it seems like the biggest action took part in the book took place off panel, or at least off screen. It's one of those dumbest concepts. This has happened like 3 or 4 times in the series, where you have a good action piece and it happens off screen. Yes, that's the only thing I don't like, is that they basically explain what afterwards. My guess is if they adapt this for this particular book for the anime, they probably will show this in a flashback of what the heck happened. Because I think it'd be dumb for the studio who makes this is Passionate, basically, who currently makes the show. It would be kind of dumb if they don't show the flashback sequence of actually how the battle concluded. Yes, that would be quite stupid if in fact they did not have, and because the fact they explained it here, where they would simply show the flashback sequence of the famous battle that all these angels and gods and fallen angels and other devils take on Traxxum, and actually beat him by sealing him in another dimension. Yeah, they seal him in another dimension. That is how they beat him. It takes a lot of people. It takes like most of everybody's groups here. Lucky enough that a lot of the other characters, it seems like. Now, I get why maybe I heard something that Azazel was sealed. I don't know how he was sealed. Or why he was sealed in the first place. Was he just some evil? No, he would do something really good. He basically had a heroic sacrifice in a way where he sealed himself in another dimension with this beast. Him with a bunch of other people, including like Zeus. Yeah, Zeus of the Greek gods. Yeah, Zeus, like several other people. Odin was taken out. Yeah, a bunch of people lost their lives. A lot of the really big authority figures were taken out. Yeah. It's kind of sad to see that some certain characters, including like people like Sir Zex, who actually was a great character. Excuse me. I think same thing with Michael. I forgot to mention this, but when Trax was first basically started attacking places, the institute that Azazel set up, that was destroyed, and most of heaven was destroyed. Yes, most of heaven was completely destroyed by Traxxum. Yeah, he pretty much attacked heaven and pretty much destroyed most of the place. Yeah, he destroyed like half the floors, and yeah, unknown if in fact heaven was rebuilt. As for who the new head of the archangels are, because prior to this book it was Michael. I would not be surprised if it's Gabriel who takes over. Wouldn't be a bad idea to do. After all, of all the archangels, basically, who are known archangels, she's probably like the only one people kind of know about anyways. I mean, when you think of angels, like actual angels, usually depicted under forms of, let's say, like the Bible or fiction, there's only two people think of: Michael and Gabriel. That is it. Though Gabriel, a lot of the time, I've seen depicted as a man. This is by far the only series I've seen where Gabriel is a woman. A smoking hot woman, mind you. And also the reason why Zazel fell, because he basically wanted to see her without her clothes on. I'm like, that's seriously the reason why you fell? Yeah. One thing at least got praised about Azazel is the fact the writer writes it where he still gets a lot of respect, despite the fact he's no longer the Governor General of the fallen angels, which I do appreciate the fact that the writer writes him that way. He pretty much stepped down from the position after the events of with the end of book 12. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so it's like, okay, so he's basically he's referred to as former Governor Azazel, and he's pretty much like this for the next 8 books. He's still pretty much referred to as Azazel Sensei. He's been kind of referred to as this since book 4, where he basically was kind of referred to as this, even though the show, he kind of asked him referred to as Mr. Azazel, though in light novels they referred to him as Azazel Sensei. So, yes, after 17 light novels of him being a good supporting character, he's taken out. Yes, 17 light novels after he becomes sort of a mentor figure to Issei and a lot of the other characters. He's taken out the series. He's not dead. He's sealed up, and as far as I've heard, as far as I looked up, he does not return after this book at all. Yeah, I don't know if he does. As far as I can tell, I don't think he returns for the next few books, but I don't know if he returns for the sequel series. Of course, I haven't finished. I haven't read the few books yet, but yeah, I can't spoil that. He does not return after this one. He stays gone. Mm-hmm. Yep. Now, I had thought I was going to do. The reason why I decided to review the light novel now, because I originally was going to do my review of Ace Attorney, but I looked at basically how many pages I left to go for the 21st light novel. I had 18 pages left, so I figured, I'll finish reading this book, do the review, and then I'll worry about Ace Attorney. That's what we do. But next video definitely will be Ace Attorney, okay? But here's the next review. Bye.